microSHIFT, road bike shifter and derailleur installation. Shifter installation. First, slide the shifter onto the handlebars and tighten it slightly using a hex key. Adjust it so that it is aligned with the drop bar and perpendicular to the handlebars. Also make sure that the top edge of the shifter is aligned with the handlebars. When both sides have been secured, place a string over the two shifters. The string should be parallel to the handlebars. Crankset installation. Insert the crankset into the bottom bracket and then slide the crank arm onto the other side and secure it tightly with the appropriate tool. All cranksets differ, so be sure to check for any special instructions regarding necessary tools or the torque. Front derailleur installation. If you have a braze-on front derailleur but your frame doesn't have a braze-on mount, you will need a clamp or band type front derailleur with a diameter of 34.9 or 31.8 millimeters. In this case, we're using a clamp. Tighten the clamp with a hex key. Then adjust the derailleur's height so that the outer plate is above the bigger chain ring by about 2 millimeters. Make sure the back of the outer plate is lined up with the bigger chain ring's outer edge and the front of the outer plate is lined up with the inner edge of the teeth. When you're done, remember to tighten the clamp completely. Rear derailleur installation. Attach the bolt to the hanger. Then tighten it for 8 to 10 newtons meters. Then adjust the H screw to line up with the rear derailleur's pulleys with the first or smallest sprocket. Chain installation. Guide the chain through the smaller chain ring in the front derailleur, going around the cassette's smallest sprocket to the rear derailleur. Then pull the chain beneath the first pulley to the top of the second pulley, creating an S shape. Adjust the chain length by removing the connecting pin at position 4. The chain can be connected with the connecting pin or link. Here, a connecting link is used. Derailleur housing installation. First, insert one end of the housing and measure the appropriate length. This is important because if it is too long or short, the derailleur will shift inaccurately. Cut both housings so they are equal length and check that they line up with the outer edges of the tire. Derailleur cables installation. Upshift to the highest gear by pressing the smaller pedal. Then thread the longer shift cable through the shifter mechanism exiting from the hole for the housing. Do the same thing with the other side. Then pull both cables through the bottom bracket cable guide. Now we're going to measure the housing for the rear derailleur. It should be about 30 centimeters. If it's the correct length, you can slide the rear shifting cable through the housing and then through the rear derailleur's barrel adjuster. Finally, secure the cable by tightening the bolt. Cut off any extra cable and put on the end cap. Now upshift once to the second smallest sprocket. If there's some noise from the chain, twist the adjuster until it shifts accurately. You can check by shifting up and down. Upshift to the smallest sprocket and adjust the front derailleur so the chain is 1 to 2 millimeters away from the inner plate. Place the cable along the groove and secure it by tightening the bolt. Cut off any extra cable and put on the end cap. Then repeatedly shift between the bigger and smaller chain ring. Check that the outer plate is 1 to 2 millimeters away from the chain when it's on the bigger chain ring. Don't forget to tighten the cable and adjust the trim distance using the adjuster. Brake housing installation. Measure the appropriate housing length to reduce friction while braking. Also measure the correct housing length for the rear caliper, which will prevent it from moving. Brake cable installation. Flip the lever hoods and slide the longer brake cable through the silver wire hole in the left shifter exiting from the hood. Then insert the cable into the housing and through the rear caliper. Cut off any extra cable and put on the end cap. Repeat the same thing for the right side and the front caliper.